Friday, July 26, 2024, and we're in the studio doing a session. Gentlemen.
Good evening.
We're recording.
Good evening, everybody.
How you doing?
Hope everyone had a great week. Hope you can recover from how exhausting everything was.
Yeah, we're in the dog days of summer now.
It
We're
is
knee-deep
hot
in
out.
it.
It's so hot out today. I absolutely love it. About it, but as soon as that snowflake falls, oh yeah, I'm gonna be complaining.
For those that haven't been to Hawaii, what is the heat? Like, Vegas, they got the real dry heat. Gets real humid here in the summertime. Like, is it comfortable? Like, I think it is. It has to be.
I mean, I think it's perfect. It gets humid some days, and people don't seem to like that at times, but I think it's absolutely perfect.
Does it get to like 90s?
Yeah, it's been the 90s. I've been out there, but most of the time it's like consistently. You look at the thing, it's like 80, 80, 81, 80, 82, 82, 81.
80 is a good number.
Sunny. I love it out there.
What's the UV index?
7. I believe it's 7.
Oh, that's a nice. Really? That's very low. California gets. Oh, you're just making it up?
Yes.
Oh.
I've never.
But it's on your app. It says it on the app.
Oh, well, I don't.
Yeah, you got to keep track of that. Burn.
Yeah.
You don't care if you.
Yep.
You never
Tell
care
him.
about it?
Tell him, Burn.
Well,
Like you've never. When you've gone to Miami, they have a
Never been.
high. You said
Dave
it
doesn't even
yourself.
use.
I've
Dave
heard
doesn't
it.
use sunblock.
I don't know.
No, that's false.
Dave doesn't need
like
to-
put sunblock on when I walk out the door because I hate being sunburnt.
I was saying Dave doesn't need sunblock, but I guess he does. Use
Yeah.
it, so.
He's not that black.
Well, I mean,
No,
half.
Not
right?
even close to.
We all need fucking sunblock.
Well, I decided, he's like kind of part Hawaiian now, so
No,
maybe he doesn't need
Howley.
it.
I'm a Howley.
Howley?
Howley.
Is that what they call you?
I don't know if I'm saying it right, but
That's what they call you, white folk coming to Hawaii,
Yeah.
or what? The
Really?
locals.
Howley.
Holy.
Is that like derogatory? Is that like saying the N word? Should we be bleeping that out right now, or
Is
what?
it like gringo?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like that.
Okay, so it's like we can say it.
So,
Nice.
I didn't say it. I just want to be clear for any future
For legal purposes.
well, I've been called that out there, so
opportunities that it may preclude me from. I want to make it clear. Maybe I did say it. Well, we'll find out.
If Osborne is on his third interview, and you're watching this right now, he's a great guy. He doesn't mean any of that. So definitely hire him. He's best for the job. Yep.
Thank you, Tom.
You got it.
Whatever happened? We were gonna run him for a judge in Anoka.
No.
That's an elected
Oh,
position,
yeah.
no?
we should.
Yeah, no, we're not
If
gonna
we
do
could
that.
go door to door,
We
and
could,
get
we
like
could-
100 votes.
we could get
like,
write-in
it'd
votes for that,
probably be a
right?
lock. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd accept it, wouldn't you, if you won?
No,
Yeah.
I got my eye on a different job. Hopefully, I'll be starting it soon. I still have to interview for it, and
It's tough to like get the job.
identified
Well, this
it,
is
and it was
convenient.
open.
Convenient that we're kind of talking you up here on this app and
Mm-hmm.
saying that we're giving the green light to hire Osborne.
Okay.
For the job. Sorry.
Send a link to this
Yeah.
recording.
Yep.
All right,
Yeah.
so
Send
You
a link
should.
to this,
Just
especially
se-
send it to your
just say,
current boss.
Can I text you something? Yeah. And then get their number, and then just send them this video. You're in.
and then not.
And
get
then
the
never
job.
hear from him again.
What
Okay,
was the
so-
Oh, go ahead.
Here's a shared memory. Can I ask you guys about this?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
He's gonna
it's-
bring some
I
nostalgia
know
back
you're
our way.
all gonna remember this. Okay.
I hope so.
It's like it's a piece of paper, and it's roughly this big, and it came out once a month, and it had video game prices on
Oh
that.
yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
The Funcoland
The Funcoland
price list.
buy and sell thing.
Yes.
I remember looking at that thing and like every game you had, they'd give you like $2 for, and every game you wanted was like $55. Like you can get it brand new for $60.
They had like Neo Geo games on there too.
Yeah.
I remember wigging out seeing those.
And every Neo Geo game was like $200.
$200 a
What-
cartridge.
like,
yeah.
like back in the 90s,
What?
or even like
I
what it
remember
come out?
seeing that shit on the shelf.
So wait a minute.
Wait a
minute.
minute. Per cartridge.
Yeah. It's
For
like
Neo
crazy.
Geo. Now, who made Neo Geo?
SNK.
SNK?
Yeah.
It was like straight up Japanese. I don't even know if the games are in English. Like,
Yeah, they're in English.
Alright.
I have a Neo Geo, so
do you really?
yeah, I've got a
You've got
Neo,
one?
I've
My
got a Neo
God.
Geo with 3 of the games.
So what would
Do you
the
have a
console
TurboGrafx?
cost?
I do.
What
It
would the
was like
console cost?
600
Really?
in the 90s.
I think the
700 is what I
well, I remember it being 500, but maybe I'm off. But I thought the Neo Geo system was 500, and like each game was like $200.
Didn't you guys as a kid just see that the price of those and think those must be some fun ass games if they're that expensive?
Well, I remember the rumor was like, it's like playing a TV. Like people saying the graphics were that good. The graphics are definitely not the same as what you'd see on a TV. But for like, imagine like being in the early '90s and you'd go to an arcade and those graphics would be better than what you had at home. That's like what a Neo Geo is.
What was the? Is it like a 16? Is there an equivalent for Neo Geo? Is like a 16-bit system?
It's got to be like a 64 or something for that price.
I think if I remember correctly, it used both a 16-bit and an 8-bit in it,
Alright.
making it 24-bit. But I don't know. It's been a little while since I've looked at that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the controllers itself are almost as big as the system because it was like this big joystick that you'd set down and like 4 buttons on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember seeing those. Those were cool.
I do remember that. Yeah, Funcoland.
Yep.
You had that.
That's a way
controller
better name for it.
Nintendo that my dad used it too. That joystick.
Yeah, they were
Advantage. Yeah.
like imagine like 2 NES Advantages put together like that.
That's how big it was.
Yeah, those things are
Holy
just
cow.
the controllers on the thing were just absolutely massive.
And it was like a lot of Japanese fighting games and stuff. What was like the killer app? for that
Well,
system?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't get mine back in the day. I got it secondhand later on down the road. Just happened to know a guy who knew a guy who wanted to get rid of his, and but the
New guy.
yeah, it was a I know a guy who knows a guy type thing.
Yeah,
But
I've never even seen one.
I'll have to bring it out one time.
Yes.
But I've got 3 games on it. I've got Magician Lord.
What is that?
It's just kind of some kind of like side scroller type adventure type game. I've got Nam 1975, which you probably guys, if you think back, you probably saw in the arcade back in the day.
Is it a shooter?
Wait.
Yep, it's a shooter.
Like Operation Wolf or?
Yeah, kind of like that.
Man,
Uh,
we
And
got to
then-
get to something where we can like be. I want to look this up right
Yeah.
here and now because I know that at those arcades there were some cool. I mean, we all played
What
at
was
some
that
of those like
arcade in Brooklyn Park called?
Circus Circus.
Yeah, remember Circus Circus?
Is that what it was?
Yeah,
I think so.
that place was fun.
And at Brooklyn Park? Oh yeah, that was the place to be.
There were some classics that I'm sure I forgot about, but if I saw them again,
Yeah, it would instantly jog your memory.
yeah. I mean, even playing like that arcade like X-Men game where there was like 4 or 5 different stations, so you could have all your.
Yeah.
And back that was before any kind of multiplayer systems that
yep,
we could have
before,
at home.
Nintendo 64.
I remember even playing it like that at like Skateland or something.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like that. That
And
was
then I had
fun.
one more game on it called I think it's called Fatal Fury or
Oh,
Fatal Fury 2.
Mhm.
And that was a fighting game. That was pretty fun.
Fighting game or is it like a punching like Double Dragon
No, it was like a
fighting game?
fighting game. So
So about those price sheets.
yeah,
Do you remember it was on like a specific type of paper?
I do. I could
Too.
like,
It was like
kind of like
a
feel it in my
cheap-
hands.
Yeah, it was
Yep.
like crinkly and it was like a little cheaper than normal paper. Or maybe not cheaper. It might have even been more expensive, but
I
it
don't know, but
definitely.
it had its own unique feel to it.
Don't remember.
Like a
those.
newspaper
Ice sheets.
type.
It had like a gloss to it though.
Yeah.
Because it wouldn't like absorb as well, so it definitely had some sort of gloss. But why I bring that up is because I was looking to buy one, just because I wanted to like look through it again and see the games.
Oh.
How much do you think? We'll do a little game. How much do you think for one of those from the early '90s?
Like on eBay or something.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Yes. Anyway, Tom, what's your guess?
All right, right away I was thinking $40.
Okay. Dave.
I'm thinking it's not that much. I'm thinking like maybe 15.
Okay.
$1. I don't even remember those.
$1. Like prices.
You don't remember the price sheets?
I don't.
Well, you can kind of
Okay.
imagine maybe they'd be like,
Yeah, I suspect. But
They were their average price $60.
Wow.
Was
But
this
that's
like?
the buy it now
That's-
price.
Yeah, I
so
mean, did you actually look at like the sold listings to see how much they were going for? 'Cause
I'm gonna say that was like closer to 50.
Okay. Well, Tom,
Oh.
you got it.
But
Yeah,
that,
so
but we all I had
I win
those
one.
and would just chuck it
So-
every month.
You
$50
you're ordering one.
bill.
You're ordering one for me now.
That's the way to think about
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
What's that?
You're ordering one for me now. Then I win.
That's right.
Uh,
Thank you.
You know what
Cool.
I
I
still
don't
have?
remember that.
I don't remember.
I still have some of the early editions of Game Informer, and if I remember correctly, they had price lists in those too.
Is that the Funcoland magazine?
Yeah.
Oh,
like-
maybe they. Oh, you think you still have? They might be in the magazine.
yeah. I think they had them
itself.
in the magazine. So
Oh, you're gonna have to check.
yeah, I'll
man.
check, and I'll check tonight when I get home, and I'll text you if it's there.
I'll totally buy at least one from you.
I might only have one. I think the one I'm thinking of has got Toe Jam and Earl on the front. So
Oh
Ooh,
yeah,
um,
Ryan, that's your game
yeah,
there.
That was the game.
yeah. So
Alien rappers, like random levels.
Oh, yeah,
two
that's what they
players.
were.
Super cool.
that's a
It
cool
was-
game.
That was a little beyond its time game. Yeah,
Yeah.
its capabilities too for like randomness.
Every board was rendered randomly each time you'd play.
Wow.
Really?
Okay.
Mhm.
I mean, they do have a fixed, progression through the 25 levels, the same. But yeah, they would just randomize all the boards. I don't know how they did that. But,
Wow, that's very interesting. So it doesn't play the same
On
way each
Nintendo.
time.
right.
Oh,
So
that's super cool.
That was on. Was that no? That was Genesis. Or no? Was that
yeah, it was on
NES?
the Genesis.
Oh,
Yeah.
Genesis. Okay.
Yeah, not on the Super Nintendo.
But which is what 16-bit?
Yeah, Genesis
Yep.
16-bit.
And they should have been like mascots for that system, but then
They
they,
really should.
released. I think they released a sequel for one of the Xboxes.
Yeah, Sonic took that instead.
Yeah, and the follow-ups weren't supposed to be as good, but
Yeah. Oh, that original Sonic game was fun, but then the rest.
2 was good. I never played Sonic and Knuckles.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris, I had another memory unlocked, too. Like, remember those Funcoland commercials, how they used to talk about, like, here's how we feel about buying your games, and they held out a big fan of money, and we used to laugh because it was all ones.
just $1.
It was all $1 bills, and that's about, like, yeah, how much they'd give you.
That's a good memory. It was like a guy with the poker hat too. I remember like a
Yeah.
dealer,
visor?
like a cart. Yeah.
They had ones, too, where it was, like these two boxes, and, like, they had one where it was like, here's how places feel about you trying their games, and two hands came out and grabbed an NES and like were pulling it back, and here's how we feel, and push the NES forward,
I
and a
remember
big
that.
box of games come flying out, and
Yeah. I do remember that. That was good.
yeah,
That's funny.
Funcoland.
yeah, that was. I remember going to the very first one. It wasn't even like in a store. It was we saw the ad in the paper, and we like had to go into like this warehouse area and just like into some random door. Didn't even have Funcoland.
Who did you go with?
My parents brought. My mom brought me.
Okay.
Me and my brother, and my sister. I think someone else was with too.
Huh.
But I remember buying Donkey Kong Jr. there. But yeah, it was just like this weird.
For
NES,
NES?
yeah.
Okay.
It was this weird room, and like I remember they had those like Mario Kling stickers on the wall, and it was weird. It was very weird. So
That was probably the original game collector, you could say, right? Or reseller.
yeah, that's probably the first. That's my first experience with
One of the original
buying used
game
games and
resellers.
yeah.
Now it's a huge business. It's like tons of
Dying business now.
options. You think so?
Oh yeah, with all
Isn't
these.
there like a lot of people who collect classic?
Oh yeah, there's
games?
classic gaming collecting is a thing now. It's bigger than it, was back in like the 90s and stuff. But like with all the new generation consoles, like making games digital only and all this digital download stuff and tying things to the console, and it's dying out.
You think it'll just be? Yeah, it'll slowly
think
get
it'll just
smaller
kinda
and smaller every year.
Fade away,
Mm. It's funny because there'll be people who I've fallen down the rabbit hole a few times and watched a few YouTubes on this, and there'll be people who collect maybe like TurboGrafx 16
Mhm.
games. They'll try to get like the whole library
Yep.
of just
yep.
some random system like 3DO or TurboGrafx 16. Those were the ones that stood out to me.
TurboGrafx 16.
Yeah,
That's a
it's like
system?
Short-lived.
Really?
Yeah, it's a 16-bit system.
I don't want to cut you off on that, but Dave, wasn't there a system, and maybe anybody knows this, called you said Neo Geo, but wasn't there one called like Real or the Real?
Panasonic
something?
Real 3DO. Yeah.
3DO?
Was that a CD?
Yeah, CD-based system.
There was something with like the word like real.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
was
3DO.
Panasonic Real 3DO.
Oh, Panasonic Real
Yeah,
3DO.
yeah.
Okay. And that was supposed to be like, it's real. It's
It
so
was-
realistic. Yeah.
That was expensive.
Yeah,
When that came out.
yeah.
It was very expensive.
But there'll be people. So there'll be
I was
people who will
so little.
have maybe like the whole collection, right? Except for maybe like 2 obscure titles, and they're obscure because nobody
Bought them.
right? And
Or they
but
were
it's-
made towards the end of the life of the system.
And at this point, those games are just have these crazy values because it's like the last little talisman piece that people who collect this shit need to complete their collection.
Yep.
So it's kind of interesting because it's like they don't even like want to play it really, but it's
Well, a lot of them aren't even
they
like
just
that
want
fun to
the
play.
hunt-
You
the
just want
hunt
to
for it.
have
Okay.
it. Yeah.
And there's people that hold on to them to try to like restrict others from getting them, or no?
I mean, that could happen. You know,
Or
according
it's
to
like
the
making a
market type deal.
scarcity or something on them, or
The ones I see are it's like resellers, but they'll definitely if they hear you saying like, "Oh, I just need that one to complete my collect," well, the price just went up like $200.
so they gotta play poker on that a little
Yeah,
better.
yeah.
I feel like people know a lot more about the game value too. They know.
There's kind of a renaissance, I think, for people in our demographic for childhood toys. He-Man,
Yeah, I think
G.I.
you're right.
Joe,
Ghostbusters.
Yep.
So if we would have kept every one of our toys we ever had, and never opened them.
Oh, man.
Oh,
We wouldn't even have to work, right?
$100,000.
Yeah, we
just
did
if you unopened copy of Zelda, the Nintendo game.
Oh,
know.
okay.
Sold for like $250,000.
I know, that's crazy.
So any NES version, right?
Yeah.
Seal.
So
all
that
we all
game-
had.
I gotta ask you guys this: what can you use other than an NES to be able to play that game and be able to like save your progress so you can actually play the whole thing and win it? Is there some system? I think on the Nintendo, right? That new Nintendo.
I think Zelda is a game on there on the NES Mini.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, on the NES Classic, yeah. it's on
Oh,
the
but
NES
I mean,
Classic.
even on the what is the one? The Switch. That's it.
Yeah, what about
That's
the
the
Switch?
newest thing. I think you can download something on there like
oh,
a
yeah,
classic
yeah.
game
you should
thing
be able to pull Zelda
on
down
there.
and play on that one.
Okay.
I want to say the original Animal Crossing for GameCube had Easter eggs of hidden Nintendo games. I know they had Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Really?
Nice.
I don't think it was Mike Tyson.
Or was it
Kid
just regular
Dynamite, 'cause he
Punch
was
Out?
raping people, and they had to change the branding. But like, still a great game. And
Yeah, but now he's okay.
yeah, oh yeah, love Iron Mike. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's horrific, but
yeah. People love him
seems
again
to-
now. Yeah.
yeah.
They're just hey, he got over it.
back
He's
from
all
being
right.
canceled, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that was a long
Served his
time ago.
time,
Yeah.
paid his
She
debt to
should be getting
society.
over it by now. I'm just kidding. All right. All right. No, that was cross-line burn.
I didn't say
Cut
that.
that out.
I did not say that.
You were thinking that, and I just wanted to say that. So on his behalf.
But yes, he's changed his image around.
Isn't that crazy?
Mike
$250,000
That is
for
Yeah.
those
insane.
like I had that game. I just didn't need to open
That's
it.
crazy.
Right, if you just
Yeah.
would have, like thrown it in the drawer.
And with the one
forgot
that was
about
like
it.
gold color.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
I bet the battery's dead and everybody's now.
No, you can get it replaced.
What do you mean? The batteries
There's a little
on a
tiny,
Nintendo?
little tiny battery inside the Zelda cartridge and
No.
some of the other cartridges.
Oh, really?
Save.
Progress, yeah.
Ah, that's
And,
right.
And
You can change that out.
And you
Yeah,
had to
it's-
like hold reset before you turn the
Yep.
power off.
Yeah, otherwise you'd lose your game. Dude, I remember one
Really?
time. So I remember one time I was playing Zelda for hours and hours and hours on end, and you know how like the games on Nintendo would get super hot. Well, I finally got done, and I felt like I hit reset and powered and took the game out, and it felt super hot. I'm like, oh man, I better cool this down. So I set it on the air conditioning vent to cool it off, and then when I put the game back in, everything was erased. I was so upset.
Because did you not hold reset there?
No,
or-
I held reset and powered it off like I normally did.
Hmm.
But for whatever reason, like putting it on the like having it go from that hot to cold somehow messed with the battery, I guess, and
Yeah.
I put it in, all the games were erased. Oh, I had a guy on the had completed the second quest. Another guy that I was just messing around with that I was seeing how far I could get without a sword, and I had like 2 or 3 Triforce pieces with it. And then I had my brother's game on there. That's all gone in an instant.
So what's funny about that is that because back then that stuff, what you were just describing, was hard work to get that,
Yeah.
to achieve that, right?
Yeah.
And nowadays, I mean, you can go on, pull up like the map, guides, a YouTube video showing you exactly where to go
Well,
to get what sword and things like that. But yeah, we had that, but it was like
We had
like a
Nintendo
magazine and things
Yeah.
like that, and it's not as good as like these videos just walking you right through it and
Right,
explaining
right.
everything. Yeah.
But we had Nintendo Power. It usually covered
Mm-hmm.
a lot of good stuff. Hey, Chris, remember we were playing Metroid at your house, and first time we found out about Justin Bailey,
Yeah.
and then we were just
Bailey
What?
code.
we were just blown away. Like, wow, look at all those cool places we can get to now. And don't you know that? Tom?
No, so okay, Metroid for NES.
Yeah, if you put in the remember how it had like a password save system, like
Oh,
if
the
you died,
password was like
the passwords were like
I
ridiculous.
don't
characters,
remember much
too.
about. I mean, I remember the game, but I don't remember really playing it. I played it for Game Boy,
Yeah.
but not for
Oh,
NES.
my Metroid too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But the original NES one, if you put in the password Justin Bailey as the first, like, there was like 6 digits on each thing, or 6 characters, and then you put the bottom ones all underscores, you'd start off in that, like, bubbly world area
as a totally different character.
as like
too.
like Samus without the armor on,
Oh yeah.
and you'd have like a whole ton of missiles and like 6 energy tanks and like you could pretty much go beat the game right there and then and there.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
Good memory.
That's wild.
What was did TurboGrafx make a handheld
Yes,
16-bit? What was that called?
TurboGrafx Express.
I don't remember anything.
I've got
about this
that,
thing.
and so
That looks sweet.
It
I bet
played-
it chewed through batteries.
Wait,
Oh,
was
it
this
did.
was this
It sucked
after
them dry.
NES or before NES?
This would be after NES.
yeah, it's
Really? Okay.
kind of like when NES, Sega, Genesis days, right around
Okay,
there,
so I was like 2.
pre Super
Okay,
Nintendo. But yeah, there's a TurboGrafx Express, and you would just take the same games that would go into TurboGrafx 16 and plop them in the TurboGrafx Express.
No way.
Yeah, it used the exact same
Nice.
games, and it had a little adapter you could get, which I've also got this called the TurboVision, that you'd screw onto the side of it, and it would turn it into a TV, a handheld TV.
I got a Game Gear from my
Yeah.
aunt and uncle one year for Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That took like 8 or 12 AA batteries.
No, only
Oh,
6.
that's right.
6, 3 on each
Wow.
side.
It chewed through that shit in like an hour and a half.
Oh
Like,
man. I remember you had that.
was
That
full
thing
color.
was sick. Yeah, color.
Yeah.
Dude.
It was cool.
Yeah, in
Compared
its
to a Game
time.
Boy, it was
Oh, yeah.
way more.
The Game Boy,
advanced.
like-
Did you
like
have
cute green and
rechargeables?
No, that
Oh,
technology
fail.
didn't exist. I mean, I
Yeah,
think they did
I
have a
did.
rechargeable
I always had
battery
them for my
pack.
Game Boys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
we had those NiCad, those yellow batteries, NiCad, whatever they were called.
I had
yeah,
like
nickel
these
cadmium.
Panasonics
Yeah.
that I had these Panasonics with this little box so you'd load them in and recharge them. Yeah. I'll be damned.
Yeah, and then Sega Genesis, or not the Genesis, but they came out with the Nomad, which took Genesis games,
Oh, that
That I
sounds
remember,
cool.
yeah.
and that
The
one took
Nomad?
it sucked through batteries even quicker than the Game Gear.
I
What?
would need a source on that. I just remember how quick
Wait.
that thing chewed batteries. But the Nomad looked sweet.
Yeah, it was really cool. Don't have one of those in my collection.
You
So
were,
back
like,
then,
the only person I knew who had a Game Gear. Because
Really?
I remember, when the first time you had it, and it took me like 2 seconds to realize, oh, this thing just smokes the Game Boy.
I
crazy.
don't think so. I think
It
like
didn't?
the desert, like
I'm
I don't
remembering
think there
it
was a lot of good
incorrectly.
software for it. I mean,
Okay.
it had like a really low budget version of Mortal Kombat. It did have Sonic, but the Game Boy. That's
I think the initial
That was
shock
fun.
value
Game
of
Boy
it, though,
iconic.
like it had a little bit more of a bang. But yeah, if you look at the full spectrum of things, you're right. Yeah, Game Boy.
Game Boy.
That was so close. I mean, think about too,
Dave,
like
do you have
long car rides.
Yeah, how
Dude,
amazing it was
clutch.
to sit there and play that.
Dude, kids have no idea now. Like, kids now are like, oh, car ride? No big deal. I got this computer just right in my hand
Yeah.
that
And I
I
got
just
a
watch
screen that's-
anything and do anything I want. Yeah.
I got a big screen, like the Game Boy screens with this little tiny thing.
Yeah.
And, you're and you'd be trying to like get the light just right on it, and then it'd
Game
be,
Boy wasn't
Yeah.
backlit. That's
yeah.
right.
And then if it was nighttime, unless you had that little light adapter, you couldn't play it in the car. You
Yeah.
were screwed.
I had to light it after with a magnifying glass.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was
That's
the
right.
made it bigger.
You
The
had that?
screen, yeah.
Yep, I
Nice.
do remember that thing.
Nice.
Widescreen.
It
No, it
opened
was-
up the night hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun for that.
Dave, you don't have a Virtual Boy, do you?
No, I
Okay.
never picked that one up.
Or what about the Nintendo robot?
The Rob ROB. No, I don't have one of those.
Kind of
either.
remember that. Did it with like the eyes kind of like this like oval like thing here or no?
Kind of. I mean,
He still has his Power Glove, though. We talked about that.
I still have the Power Glove.
Do you remember seeing
Ryan, you had a
this
Power
scene
Glove.
from Wizard? He was telling me. You remember that?
The Power Glove was the coolest looking thing.
Yeah, you had one, didn't
on the
you?
No, I never.
What?
had
You
one.
borrowed mine for a while. I remember.
Yeah, it was the shittiest.
You had it, Ryan.
Screen.
You had it master, didn't you? You were like
Yeah, it's like
Thing was
playing
the
Tetris with it.
trash?
Like,
Yeah, I remember you wearing it to school.
did you?
Hey,
Damn.
speaking of video
dude.
games at school,
If Ryan wore that at school, that was probably badass to do that
He
back then. It was probably
he was
early
like in
adopter.
fourth grade, and he gets on the bus, and the
Yeah.
bus driver's just like sees the Power Glove. Is like, "You're driving.
Yeah. All right.
You're driving."
All right. He just controls the bus with it.
I'm not even gonna dispute this. That's awesome.
Yeah.
The fucking Nightmare on Elm Street. Like it made a cameo in there. That was terrible. Freddy jumped the shark. I think around Freddy's Dead.
It's
Is that where?
the reason why I bring it up is because at the very end, after they do the Rad Racer bit where the kid's just driving flawlessly, he ends it by saying like, "The Power Glove, it's so bad."
I love the Power Glove. It's so bad.
It's so great.
Nice.
It's so great. Thanks for pointing that out, Dave.
Yeah, maybe I should bring that for the next episode. I can wear it the entire time.
Control the
What
episode.
was the thing you were
with it.
asking about?
Edit
from
the
that
show
movie?
with it.
It was gonna be that quote
Oh,
because
okay.
it was just so like even as a child you're like, oh god, this is terrible. Like,
It had to be very disappointing because it was not cheap. It was like $100 accessory.
was it really?
Yeah,
think.
it was
Oh,
expensive when it first came
sure,
out. But
yeah.
it hit the clearance bin pretty quick. Yes, as word got out how terrible it was.
It had those shitty sensors you put on the.
You put them on the TV, and then you'd be playing, and all of a sudden, they'd fall off.
With the glove, you had those.
Yeah, you had to have like these sensors, and I think you had to plug them into something. I don't remember if it plugged in the Power Glove, and the Power Glove plugged in the Nintendo, or what. But yeah,
Sure, yeah, it never worked. I know there was like different iterations. I did have Samba de Amigo for the Sega Dreamcast. It was a Maraca.
oh
like,
yeah, I remember that.
game, and then it also had sensors. But I think like the potential of that technology didn't hit till like the Wii. I think was maybe the
Yeah.
first one with like the motion sensors.
Or things actually
Where they
worked.
kind of had it down pretty good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd agree.
Then that
Yeah, there
refined.
was some. What were some early things beyond that or before that? Like I remember that they had something out where it was like motion.
the U-Force.
Oh, what about? Oh, I think maybe you know
Oh
what?
my
I think I'm
God.
thinking the power
did you
pad.
have a U-Force?
No,
What's
but
U-Force?
I think it was probably even shittier than the Power.
Oh yeah, it's possible to make something shittier than Power Glove. It was the U-Force.
I'm thinking that power pad. Did you have?
Oh,
a
yeah, the power
pad?
pad.
No, they started
Oh.
packing that in with the
Yeah.
Nintendo systems though.
Yeah,
Yep.
that thing sucked.
I think
Yeah.
I think Nick Thompson had that.
He had that.
Yeah.
A lot of childhood sleepovers, play the
Yeah,
racing games.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I remember playing it with like you maybe or Nick or something sometime, but I was like so much younger, you know, so it's like I wasn't as fast or whatever. So there was different levels. You could have like the 1 and the 2, that was like the prime spot or something, and then like 2 and or like 3 and 4. Do you ever remember that? There was different levels, and like if you were on the back ones, like I remember just like tapping with my hands
Yeah,
on it.
Yeah.
To like try to race,
Fingers.
yeah. But if you were in the front spot, that was like you want to put the fastest person up there because those spots are going to make the biggest difference. Where in the at least that's how I was told it and interpreted it at. I was probably very young, and you guys were elder, and
Was that multiplayer? Could you get multiple people? On a
Oh
single
yeah,
power
oh
pack?
yeah,
get
yep,
two-
oh yeah. I
two-player
remember
game.
side by side, people play neck and neck against each
Yeah.
other, like doing like a track and field like running game or something. And I remember like just like sometimes hitting the back of it like to try to help or something. And it may or may not even be in. You guys might have just said, "Oh yeah, that helps" or something. Just hit that, so then I could play along or something, But it didn't really do nothing. Yeah, I never had one of those though.
I do remember this U-Force thing.
Yeah.
There's no way that
U-Force.
worked.
No.
So what
I think I
system is
saw
it? Is it a
a
system?
It's something for the
video game
NES.
review it.
And you like stood up and like we're supposed to be like you set up these like side panel things and you're supposed to be like control stuff like that and
Wow.
Was that like a precursor to the virtual? I just remember the red colors and the advertisements.
Yeah,
but
that's all I
never
remember
saw
from
or
it.
Played one. Oh yeah. But did they have a Mario game for the Virtual Boy?
yes.
Like a real like side-scrolling
Yeah.
Mario thing?
Yep.
Is it sweet?
Interesting.
I've never played it.
Probably
It might have
is.
been actually it might have been Wario
That's at Wario Land or
a
something.
Wario type game, but yeah, essentially the Mario genre.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I've played a Virtual Boy once. I have a buddy who's got one, and he's like, "Hey, try it out." And I was playing it for a little while, and then started feeling sick, so I stopped. So
I remember
Yeah.
playing it.
Yeah.
Toys R Us, they had one set up. You put your face in there with all the other filthy children that put their face up to it. And yeah, and then you get a headache, and you're like, okay, well, I'm not
yeah,
going
Huh.
to get this for
I never remember that stuff ever being a problem as a kid, but now, yeah, if I try playing kind of stuff like that too much, at all,
yeah. I don't know. I guess
Man.
I don't know if it would have bothered me as a kid or not.
I'm
but-
getting motion sick from that now.
Yeah, has anybody got those Zuckerberg goggles?
No, I've never tried the Zuckerberg stuff.
Either.
I have put on an Oculus Rift before. They're kind of cool.
Who makes that one? Like,
Oculus, I think.
Is the one you're talking about the one where you got like you can have these screens and you can move the screens around?
I think
And
that's
you can
the
have-
Apple one.
Is that the Apple one where you can even like, oh, I'm gonna put a screen here, so every time I walk into this room, there's gonna be this screen here if I'm wearing these and stuff, and like
I don't know.
it
I just
seems
know that
wild.
was a flop. I don't even remember what.
Yeah,
launched
they
the
were
Apple
hot
version
for a
at.
while. It seemed like, and a big jam, tons of talk about it, and then I haven't heard one whisper about them since.
I'd heard it was the best expression of that technology, but still nobody wants to wear that shit on your head.
Yeah,
Constantly,
yeah, it's gonna have to be. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, I don't
Not to
know.
find
I don't know
something
if it'd be
lighter
anything.
weight and
like a contact.
oh god, yeah, putting that right in your eye, like that one Black Mirror episode. Anyone watch Black Mirror on Netflix?
Yeah, I've seen.
Yeah.
Where there's like a recording camera.
Like there's like I think that episode's called "The History of You" or something like that.
Yeah, I have seen that
and
episode.
it's like a contact that you put in your eye, and it records your entire life. And no.
the
Crazy.
episode devolves into a husband and wife like yelling at each other, demanding to see the footage of
Ooh,
them. Like, yeah.
fits a little. Yeah.
yeah,
So it
That's
would be
too dark.
bad. Yeah, we want that. We don't want
Yeah,
that.
oof.
Black Mirror.
Black Mirror
clearly
technology.
The episode conveyed that nicely.
Well, all right. On that note, I think that's like the perfect stopping point. We're gonna take a little break here, and we'll be back to you in just a moment.
French toast sticks to go.
These tasty French toast sticks are only 99 cents. That's right, just 99 cents for a package of 4. So hurry in. They're going fast. It's at participating Burger King restaurants. Prices may vary.
All right, guys.
Snoop Dogg.
All
We're
right.
back. We're back.
Okay, we're back. So, yeah, that was a good break. We got to learn a few things. Probably keep it off camera,
Keep it off
off the
camera.
microphone. Not like that, But yeah. So,
Yeah, we won't report anything to the. Okay, never mind.
all right.
Everybody's listening. The feds are listening to this
Yeah,
right now.
I'm sure they're
They're
sending me
tapped in.
all the YouTube videos.
Yeah,
too,
Brian,
that's
they are.
translating.
They are.
All
They're
legal.
listening.
AI stuff.
Go Walls.
So-
Like,
So, okay, what
no
were you talking about?
longer
Oh, vice
an outlaw
presidential.
within the state of Minnesota.
Question.
And also a vice presidential consideration. Like,
Yeah,
he's in the
supposedly
runnings.
they asked him to submit his application materials or whatever.
He
How
was
do you
making
submit
the-
your application? Why don't one of you gentlemen submit yours?
I could
They
see you
don't
as
want
vice
me.
You have to get
Yeah,
asked.
what's the?
Yeah.
You have to get asked.
But like that's
Well-
pretty big though for Minnesota. Like Minnesota kicks so much ass, and like just to see Walls, our governor, like on the national circuit, I don't want him to get the appointment because he just crushes shit for Minnesota. But like, it is good to see us getting such a high profile, and it was fun to see him making the national circuits. What they didn't play up that I thought they should is like the Minnesota economy. We've got, Walls. We have a Democratic trifecta, like a super majority, and we're somehow running a surplus. Like, that's not supposed to happen. Like, tax and spend
It means they're
lists.
taxing us too much.
It means like we're running a surplus. Like, that's pretty good in terms of like quality of life to cost of living. Like, Minnesota punches so much higher than its weight class. I mean, and just in towers over our neighbors. I mean, look at it. We used to give shit to Wisconsin, or Iowa, or just like friendly ribbing idiots out walking around. Like, now it's not even like a competition. I mean, we punch so much higher than everyone in our neighboring radius that I don't know. Minnesota, it's a good state.
Except for the winter. The winter's awful.
Yes, the winter.
Can't stand the winter.
Last
terrible.
winter was
And it
crazy.
lasts forever.
That was like nothing.
That was the
amazing.
nicest winter. Yep, of all time.
Amazing. Is that? Oh man, if that could be the new norm.
That's
here,
exactly why this winter is going to be painful.
This winter, yeah.
It's not going to be fun. We haven't had a little taste of that for quite a while.
But like, even I think about it. I have to travel a lot for work, and you get to see a lot of different places, and you get talk to a lot of folks from different parts of the country, and even the enthusiasm that's shared for our state. Folks on the coast, New York and Jersey and Seattle and California, they're just like, oh yeah, I had to go to Minneapolis.
So
for,
extreme shitholes, they come here and they're like, oh, this is not bad.
No,
And-
like, we are flyover country for a large segment of the population. And to hear them report back, oh, I had to do a clinical research visit in Minneapolis. Like, what a great airport! What a great like quality of life! Like the restaurants, the culture, the culinary. It's really fun to go someplace you haven't been before and be surprised that, like, wow, this is actually kind of got it going on. And
They must
so
have stopped at Cowboy Jack's downtown.
I suspect that wouldn't be the draw, but
They get a bucket of wings.
Yeah, wings are
but
pretty good.
it's I feel a lot of hometown pride for that because, like, yeah, Minnesota. I mean, quality of life, cost of living. I mean, we got the calculus to Dave's point. Yeah, I mean, if we could just fuck off to Hawaii
Winters
every
are
winter.
awful. I've
The
hated
winters
my entire
are
life.
Oh man, they're bad.
And, I mean, if I didn't have family in Minnesota, friends in Minnesota, I would have left a long time ago.
It's crazy how long they are. I didn't.
They just.
Oh,
I
man.
don't know if I realized
Drag
that as
on
a
and
kid,
on
but
and
it's by
on.
far the longest season.
Yes.
It's like 6 months. It seems like
At least.
if they can just be like last winter in the going forward,
Every
that
time.
was so nice.
I know.
But
Oh.
I think that it's just going to be the planet on fire in another decade. Like, yeah, that last winter was surreal. And I forget what year it was. It wasn't that long ago where we had like a 30-day snap where it never got above
Yeah.
zero.
Oh
Yep.
man,
That was
Fuck
awful.
that.
bad.
Yeah, no,
That was
that's
so bad.
I was still around for that one.
oh yeah. What year would that have been? I mean, it literally was more than 30
2018 or
days
something?
before we
Yeah.
got above zero. And it's
It
like,
w-
why the fuck would?
What
anyone
year
live
were you
here?
thinking?
I would take the 18 or 19. I would take the light rail to work, and I remember the sound of the train moving on that metal. It was like
Oh.
a sound. It was like the metal was crying.
Oh,
It was like
nice.
screaming. It
Yeah.
was so awful. Yeah.
Like when your car sits outside in the winter and you start it for the start, it's like,
Oh, yeah.
"Ah,"
It's
you
not
know?
happy.
Yeah,
happy.
it's like screams at you. That's what I was thinking when you described that.
That I just remember that stretch because it was so long. It was like
Mm-hmm.
20, 30 days of
Just never ends.
purple. Like, it doesn't even show up on blue. Or if it gets cold enough, it'll be white is the color they
Yeah.
use.
I've seen
purple
that.
and white. You don't want to see that
No.
anywhere on your forecast screen.
So you say you travel a lot for work. Where's the where they got you going these days?
I have like Seattle. I will snap pick Seattle. That's a great part of the country. California. I love California. But I mean,
California is
lately
pretty awesome.
had to be in Milwaukee, like during the RNC convention.
Oh, you went.
No, not to the convention.
What
but
kind of
like,
involvement?
I remember.
What
when
was
they
your
had-
involvement there?
Donor.
Oh, I went to.
Do we need to
Ascension
report this?
Hospital for clinical trial.
Like, what do you do? when
Who did
go
you
s-
talk to?
Sorry
Who
to
did you
interrupt. What were you
text?
saying about Milwaukee?
What kind of
Oh, I was
encrypted
saying, like-
encrypted text messages?
When
Sorry,
they
sorry.
announced
What?
they
Just
announced
ignore
the
me.
RNC was being hosted in Milwaukee, and Trump said, "Oh, that's a shithole city." Like, I thought, even a broken clock is right twice a day. Like, Milwaukee
Wow,
fucking
you were gonna
sucks.
get away with it by quoting Trump, but instead you're
no.
like, no, I'm gonna double down.
I mean, he's not wrong. I mean, just because he's an idiot doesn't mean that
I
like
get it. You don't
he
like
doesn't-
it.
Milwaukee sucks. Like,
I
I don't know if I've ever been there before, but Wayne and Garth seemed to really enjoy it when they were there.
Yeah, I do
Maybe
know
back
that.
then it was fun.
perhaps
That's the only thing I think of is Milwaukee.
I don't know, but I mean, like
Sorry.
I
Minnesota
have not
versus
been there.
Wisconsin versus Iowa versus North or South Dakota, like we're wreck shit compared to our neighbors.
Well,
Like,
for what? What are you looking for?
quality of life,
Like a fun urban
educate-
environment?
That
Okay.
They have sports. They have
Because other states have other things
lakes,
too, other
they
than
have
that.
getaways,
you
they
know?
have like decent public schools. Like we're all the product of a public education system in this.
Good thing we got in when we did, because they're
Yeah.
worse now. The kids are
Like,
getting
they actually
dumber
taught
now.
education back when we were there.
Yeah.
Right, but I mean they have an economy. We have the sports teams that concerts come
I
through.
think they're
here.
the worst that
We
they've
have
been in a long
culinary
time.
Scene. Yeah, but I mean we got all the major events.
No, we don't have In-N-Out burgers, so our culinary scene isn't.
but
culinary
Because it should
scene.
be.
When you said that, I thought of pizza places. We don't have very many good pizza
Oh
places.
yeah, we do. We got plenty of good pizza places.
No,
there's like a food
where?
culture.
What do you wear? All over the place.
There's like one in St. Paul called Pino's in the Skyway that has a good New York style
There's
crust.
Black
Where-
Sheep Pizza, Minneapolis.
Okay, I'll try
Go to
that.
that place. Black Sheep. They
Punch
use like
is in Maple Grove.
coal fire pizzas or
Mhm.
something like that. Black Sheep maybe.
I don't know. I think so. Yeah.
Punch. You're saying?
Punch. I like Punch. Yeah.
Punch is overrated.
Well, where else?
Frankie's.
Dave, you listed
Frankie's.
one freaking place.
It's a
Oh, okay,
classic
Pizza
place.
Luce.
That's a
Oh,
Chicago
Pizza
style.
Luce is good. You're right, you're right.
Okay.
Luce's good.
I don't
Pizza
know.
Luce is
You know,
good
I
stuff.
used to think that. I used to really do
Decent.
think that.
We used to
Okay.
hit that.
Yeah,
downtown.
I really did. Yeah, and which I was going to ask you about something about that. Maybe we can lead into that. But yeah, I don't know if it's as good as that, because there was a couple times like I had
Yeah.
driven there specifically. I was like, oh, I just want a slice, not being out downtown at 2 a.m. And I got it, and it was like, okay, yeah, this is not that great.
Yeah, New Yorkers.
But
would
at
not
2
be
a.m., 3
impressed.
a.m.,
Yeah,
it's
2 a.m.,
absolutely
the
unreal.
bars closed,
I mean, unbelievable.
Like 22,
Yeah,
just
greatest
young,
thing
dumb,
ever.
and full of vision. We're like,
Best.
get us some luce.
Yeah.
Like
That was
it's a
the spot
scene
too.
in there.
Yeah.
like
that
that
was
was
the spot.
that was.
I've enjoyed Mesa Pizza. Have you had that?
No.
They have that at like U of M campus area. Mesa Pizza.
I have
Oh, but they had campus pizza. out there.
Crazy
That was awesome.
toppings. Okay.
What do you mean crazy time? Like
What-
sauerkraut?
Yeah, all sorts of crazy wild things, and they had like all the
No.
pizza slices
Good
like all ready
pizza
to
has
go.
cheese.
Okay.
Rocco's
That's
Pizza.
it.
That place is pretty awesome.
Rocky Rococo's.
Rocco's.
Okay.
Yeah, not Rocky.
Rocky
Rococo's.
Rocky Rococo's
They don't
is
have good
awesome.
pizza.
Yes, they do. Right, Rocky Rococo's in Brooklyn Park. That place is awesome.
That
I'm
place got shut
classic.
down
No,
multiple times
it's
for
not.
safety code
It's
violations.
open. It's good. That place is awesome. I love that place.
I
But
was
it's
like
like one of the
mice.
last few places around there. No.
Oh, we got Godfathers, of course.
I
How can I
shouldn't-
forget about
Yeah.
I
Godfathers?
shouldn't
Rocky
disparage
Rococo's
them.
better.
This, I want to make it clear. This was years ago,
Yeah.
probably 20
Oh,
years
dude,
ago.
Rockies.
so
I've always
it
like
had a cool logo.
never had a bad Rocky Rococo's.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But it's
Are-
its
are you-
own thing.
Are you being a smartass?
I swear to God. Nope, swear to God. It's like it's that thick crust. I get a super slice there. Their
Again, not
sausage
pizza.
there was so good.
I
Yeah.
don't think I've ever had it, but
It's very good. Yeah, I'd go there all the time as a child. Yep. Good place. So, okay, Ryan.
Yeah, sorry, distracted. What were we-
Downtown, where were some of those places that you would drag me down there? I would willingly, excitedly, eagerly come with. But, dude, there was some crazy places we would stumble into. But you knew about it all. You had it all figured out. Like, you would know where to go, where to park, who to talk to, get in.
we used to be club rats downtown, and then
Did you ever go to drink?
yes.
Yeah, that place was
wasn't
too
really the
mainstream
spot.
for right now. This was like he was underground.
It
This
was
was like
kind of-
underground, like speakeasies. Like
it was a little scene.
you'd have to
stripper,
have a
I don't
secret
know.
knock on the door, and you would. Was this even a door? And then it would push open, and we'd get to go inside or something. That's
Really?
I do remember.
That sounds awesome.
T was very uncomfortable. One of these. Like, it was a scene. It wasn't really my scene. We'd all kind of gotten a little too old for the club rat thing, but some of these hipster like techno events. A good time. We knew some folks in the scene and the industry.
international DJs.
And so it was just fun to be like young and running around, late at night on the weekends.
Hell,
like,
it's
it
still
was just
fun to do that
always-
when we're old.
Yeah, I guess.
I still love doing it.
Bed, and it's like 9 Central.
Oh, dude, I hate going to bed.
But there were some unique venues and various states of permits and things like that. It was a different era, and I learned because you know who was the sponsor of the Rave Act, and this is what came out around 2000.
I know. Centrific.
No, but that's a name that takes me back. But so the late 90s, the rave scene kind of exploded a little bit, and there was a lot of Dateline coverage, things like that. Started to freak the parents out, So our legislators passed the Rave Act, reducing Americans' vulnerability to ecstasy.
Ooh, I like that.
Joseph
got a
Biden
nice ring.
was the sponsor of this bill.
Who
What
was?
it did, Biden, in the Senate. But what that did was all the warehouse events, kind of the illicit underground. If you were a promoter of one of these events, you could be charged essentially under like crack house laws. So if the venue was raided and they found drugs,
then it's on you.
party promoter would be charged with this. So at that point, things kind of
That's like how they got the Silk Road guy.
Yeah, and like it changed the nightlife scene because then it started to move into the clubs, and then you would get DJs sponsored by Grey Goose or
Red
what
Bull.
was that one we went to? Amsterdam.
Nice.
So that was cool.
So legitimate venues, the parties didn't get shut down. It was a little more consistent, but like it did lose some of the magic from Joe Biden's shitty legislation.
Yeah,
But,
you want it to be in a abandoned.
So happens when the government
warehouse.
gets involved.
There was just something really like free, and it felt like you were a part of something.
That was
unique and
weird how
special.
they would rent out those. I only went to like one or two with you, but it was
Right.
weird how.
The first one, Tricknology,
would-
1997. You would be like old school party people. That was, and I remember how freaked out we were walking
Yeah.
through those doors because
Everybody
These-
had like skateboards.
So what?
and
So this was a
backpacks.
this was a big event. What was it called?
it was called Tricknology.
Tricknology.
1997. Delta 9, a hardcore DJ Apollo.
It was Delta 9.
Yeah, like there's like railing glass off of
Jeez.
it was a scene. We were not prepared for that as a couple of suburban kids, just like that went.
So you guys go to where was this?
This was in an ice arena that was rented, but I don't remember what city. I want
Yeah.
to say it was like east
Ice-
of.
It was somewhere weird. Like it shouldn't have been there, or like you wouldn't think. It definitely had a illegal feel to it, but they did like rent the place.
And you book security, yeah. And like when parties would get shut down, like the police didn't have any fucking clue what was going on. They were freaked out, because there's like industrial district. You can hear like the speaker boxes just beating from like a couple blocks away.
Oh,
And then it's like 3 in the morning in some like industrial district in outside of St. Paul, and the police walk in and there's just 2,000 kids and lights, and they're like,
The glow sticks.
they thought they landed on the moon. Yeah, it scared the daylights
Yeah.
out of these people, and they would, like, not take kindly to it. They'd back it up, they'd shut these things down, and just very authoritative. But we're always like very impressed with how respectful the kids were, because I don't know, it was a different time. And
Everybody did seem cool, I remember, but I definitely have this memory of being very conscious that I was not wearing the right attire. Like, this was not the place
Right.
to be wearing, like, jeans
we had
and
Tommy Hilfiger jeans
yeah,
on
a
and shit.
polo t-shirt.
It was probably
You
fine.
did not
though, huh?
want that label stuff. No, it was
Really?
like nobody was wearing that.
Oh,
It's
really?
like if you went to high school or something.
Ryan,
you'd
were
see
you
like
at
half
risk,
the
you
Back
think?
people.
hands. Well,
Yeah.
we had to go get our gear.
Oh,
for the
because you
next
were
week.
probably you were jankoed up. You
No,
had.
I wasn't
No.
Jenko at the time. I was in
No,
Tommy
he-
Hilfiger
he
pants.
showed-
Oh, you too.
Yeah.
Okay.
But when we went back the second week, we're like, oh, we got to get some look like we belong a little bit. But that was part of what was so great about it. Everybody was welcoming, inviting, open.
Yeah.
It was. It was.
I never remember worrying about what I was wearing to any. I mean, I never went to anything too crazy like I think you guys did. Like that,
yeah,
but-
you came on, after the rave act.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And when some of our closer friends and things were throwing smaller scale events.
Yeah,
But
like that
these
place.
would
What was
be-
that place? Was it Sound
Sound
Sound Bar?
It was, but I don't remember where that was now.
So, and that was the place, and I remember that was, I think, the place where you'd go behind the place. You go up these stairs. It was like a fire exit stairs, and there'd be this door with no handle, and you'd yank it open, and there'd be a party in there.
That's right.
That
I don't
was
think
crazy.
Sound Bar. I think that was
Ah,
like that was one of G's.
I know when he was like on, like I had a regular thing,
Yeah.
and that was at Sound Bar.
Was
He had
it
a regular
Sound Bar?
gig, didn't he? And we were on like on his list.
Yeah, it could be.
Oh,
but,
nice.
you
You're
Yeah.
on the list.
Yeah, we were on his list.
Nice.
That's cool.
We each had like a +1 too. I
Mhm.
think. Yeah.
And they just have an illicit bar set up, and because
Yeah. There were some crazy things
That's
going on in there. That's what I remember seeing. Like,
I remember,
Questberry.
yeah, you were a little uncomfortable. with
Yeah,
the
I was
chill-out
like, this
space.
is- I had my guard up. That's all I can say. Yeah,
People are
I'm ready to do what I needed to do.
People are just being young, having a good time. It was a different time. What, the 90s?
Yeah, I wonder what goes on in that building right now.
It's probably lofts and like condos and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's over. It's a
Yeah.
$3,000 a month apartment.
Yeah, $3,000
that isn't rented.
I mean, it was hot space back then too. I would think.
I don't know.
Now, is it
I mean, that would have been more than
safer then than it is now to go down there for those kind of things?
Yeah, do they still do them? Does that Ravac thing still apply? Do
I-
they not do them in
Nobody really
abandoned
throws
warehouses
events like
anymore?
that. Yeah, there's no such thing like that. Now it's like
Since like the Rona, they
it's
close
mainstream.
early.
No, but I mean, like, it's sponsored by like vodka companies. It's these giant
Oh.
festivals, things like that. The tickets are, $200 or so to like go. It used to be like a very do-it-yourself attitude, hauling speaker boxes and setting this shit up and just hoping people show up, flyering, and like very gritty. I don't know, nostalgic. For,
I do remember about this. One of those events, I remember there was like a hunt to. It was like a 2-step process to find the
the
location.
map point. Yeah.
You had to go somewhere. Yeah,
You
they
gotta
didn't just tell you where it was. It was a process.
It was like a
It was
scavenger hunt type thing.
2-step
You had-
process.
This was before the internet, so like
Oh,
it wasn't.
man.
They would try and secure a space, and sometimes like the space would fall through, and you may not know where the event was going to happen until
Oh.
the
Eh,
day
hard
of.
enough to navigate down there.
And so, so like no cell phones, no
Yeah,
MapQuest.
you just
would
show
go
up.
to Synesthesia, which was like a little hippie, raver shop with
Down in the valley
mixtapes.
type.
Yeah, but
Oh, yeah, down in
like
the
more
valley.
independent, like in Uptown. And then you would, get your ticket for $15. They would give you a little piece of paper that had directions to the map point, and it was just like shitty directions. Then you'd get in your car with your friends, and you'd try to find this warehouse or arena or something somewhere, and just hope the directions were correct. But it felt yeah, it just felt like you're a part of something, and
That
that's
definitely
been
gave it a
Dude,
cool.
yeah.
That definitely gave it a cool sort of thing when you were young, because it was like an adventure.
We should
That
try
was,
to do that.
was
sometime.
kind of like when the event started, almost, or like that was a part of the journey.
We should go on a trip sometime and leave our phones.
Yes.
Just a trip out about that. Ryan's out. He's out.
I'm just dependent
We could
on
take
somebody
one
else.
flip phone for emergencies. Yeah.
but back then we didn't even have that and need that.
No.
You know.
Remember, like getting lost, like having to find a payphone and call my parents. Be like, I don't know where I am.
Yeah, and you'd have to plan ahead for stuff like that, like you guys are saying. I mean, especially downtown. Like, dude. I mean, even with GPS, it's hard to find stuff. I think. Especially
It's
these,
not very big.
and especially these, yeah, especially these secret. It's not very big.
It's not downtown. It's really not.
The more that I've worked down there and driven around, it's okay, now I know how this section kind of connects to this section, and
Really,
it's
I've never gotten the hang of it.
Really?
No, it's just, dude, it's just a massive mess of all sorts of crazy stuff.
I used to feel that way. Now it's okay, now I can navigate pretty well when I get down there.
Man,
Yeah.
It's
Can't
the
do it.
parking now. I'm just like, I don't even want to go visit somebody in Uptown or like
Yeah.
downtown.
Oh,
Like, Jesus
Uptown's crazy.
Christ.
It's like they designed it when cars didn't exist or something, because there's just no parking anywhere.
But I think that means we're getting old. We didn't used to bitch about that.
Oh, I'm pretty
well,
sure.
it's
I did.
busier than ever though too.
I
It's
didn't.
like there's more people than when 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, it's busy. I mean, think in Maple Grove. I mean, it's busier than
But they still have like parking lots in Maple Grove.
yeah.
Uptown doesn't.
True,
Some places
true.
don't even. It's like commercial.
And the roads are so narrow.
properties.
I know you guys saying that. It's just yeah. I don't know how you do it.
It's weird. It's a cool spot though. I wish I did. Did anybody ever live there for a time? I kind of
You
wish
did,
I
didn't
would have
you?
lived there. No, I
Oh.
never
Lived
lived
down
in
there.
Uptown.
But you lived like in like Minneapolis, different
Yeah, a
places.
few different parts of Minneapolis. Yeah.
I had some friends that lived down there for a little while.
Yeah, no, that's not for me. I'm not
Yeah.
living there.
It's all good until, the police kill somebody and then people riot, and the police and fire department are instructed not to do
Yeah.
anything.
Go home.
Then it kind of loses its luster.
Yeah, I would not want to be sitting in my house smelling smoke because
Dude,
something near me is
when that was
burning.
going, I could walk on my front door and smell
That's
smoke.
what you were saying. Yeah, did we say that last time too? Yeah,
When that was going on.
yeah, that's crazy. I don't remember that. I don't remember being able to smell it, but
Yeah, I'd walk on my front door and smell smoke. Like, wow.
What do you
Huh.
think about that, Ryan? As far as Minneapolis is just kicking butt. We weren't really kicking butt during that period of time.
I would disagree.
You think we were like on the?
Well, I mean, I would ask you to look at it like this. Like, granted, my perspective, I remember going to bed in, the suburbs that Friday night and watching these live streams on YouTube. And, I wasn't as up close to it. I couldn't smell the smoke. I couldn't see the folks. That would, be kind of horrifying as well. But I remember just how much anxiety I had, like watching, throwing Molotov cocktails and shit into a police station.
Yeah, they were just letting it burn.
But I didn't know that. I thought, oh my God, I'm going to wake up tomorrow. The police are going to have shot like citizens.
Yeah,
they're going to call in
many.
like military. They're going to fire on like kids from Minneapolis. We're going to wake up tomorrow in a very different America than we woke up in. And at the end of the day, it doesn't make it right to like loot and light buildings on fire, shit like that. But at the same time, the restraint that was shown by, I guess, the local leadership to say, all right, just back out, the fact that nobody was like fired on, and the fact that they were able to prosecute this case and slam dunk it at the end of it, get the conviction. In doing so,
so they busted the people that did that.
No,
Is that what you're
the
saying?
Conviction of the police officer
Yeah.
who murdered George Floyd.
and so But by clinching that conviction, Ellison saved. Do you remember how clinched you were the day of that verdict? Keith Ellison saved my city and a lot of people's cities from starting on fire. He did what a lot of attorney generals were unable to do.
Answered to the mob.
He
What?
He answered to the mob. Right?
No, he got a conviction for these like criminal actors. And if you want to use some of that language, like I don't agree with destruction of property, but at the same time, like if these fucking cops, like
you're
that
saying,
police
regardless
station,
if
no, I'm saying the police station that burned down. If there weren't violent criminals operating out of there, they probably wouldn't have a police station burned to the ground. That type of logic does go both ways. Well, he wasn't trying to pass a fake $20 bill. If he wasn't on drugs, he'd still be alive today. Well, if there weren't a gang of violent criminals operating out of this police station, it probably wouldn't be on fire today. Like, I don't agree with that. Like, make no mistake. I mean, but I just think in a terrible situation like that it could have been so much worse. And I do want to.
Yeah, I see your point. That's an interesting
it's not
way
just,
to look at it.
It's not just answer to the mob. It's, I guess, if the mob is right, then that's your answer, regardless of what they're saying. It's like do what they think is right.
I worked at the courthouse then.
That's right. Yeah.
And that trial, when the verdict was happening, they sent out an email and like sent all the workers home maybe like 2 hours before they were going to read the verdict. They had a set time. It was like around noon. And they sent us all home. They didn't want anybody in that building. At that point, it like the glass doors had been boarded, and there was a razor wire barricade fence, cement. They had the cement barricades and then razor wire fence going around the building, and there was a National Guard person like brandishing the rifle, walking around on patrol. It was so weird.
I remember that all those buildings with it boarding up,
Well, just
Cub
like
Foods in
Target,
Maple Grove was
Hy-Vee
built.
and-
hunkering down.
Yeah.
Because,
Cub Foods in Maple Grove was boarded up.
Yep, I remember that.
And just think about
crazy.
that. Like, I mean, we all saw this video. Had he not spiked that conviction, we would have been on fire. A lot of people's cities would have been on fire. I mean, I don't know. Minnesota, I got to give it up for him.
Case to win. He wasn't going to.
Hopefully, regardless of the result of any future court cases, we can still control and not have people burn down our cities.
Yeah.
Because of the
That's
way
a
they
heavy
emotionally feel
price.
about things that are being handled in the courts.
Sorry to step on you there, Tom, but yeah,
Oh,
that
no,
was a
I
heavy
mean-
price to pay when you see that's like the environment now you live in, where every commercial building's burned and like you're working in a place that has razor wire around it. How can you not think when you're going into a place that is barricaded like I'm talking about and boarded up, how can you not think going in, am I really like working for the right like an entity here?
I mean,
I guess that's not the right way to put it, because people burn like Target and stuff, looted.
I can
Never mind.
excuse, extrajudicial murder, but like, I draw the line at property damage.
Yeah, that was so weird. It's interesting though, because when you frame it in such a way, you're saying like, no, that was like a good sign. We're at the forefront.
I think so.
Or
Like,
like-
a lot of cities were not able to prosecute that case, and this was so high profile that, I don't know.
I think it could have gotten done without having to burn the city.
It was a tense moment. Like, people were
Oh,
fired up.
man.
But you're
like, I'm not
you're saying if they
excusing
but
this
you're
shit.
but you aren't you saying, are you saying that if they didn't burn the city, that wouldn't have still, that verdict wouldn't have gone that way?
No, that's there's no cause and effect there.
Yeah.
I'm saying, like,
So I'm saying, like, they should have just. I wish that they would have just protested without destroying the city that a lot of people relied on, the
wish a
stores
lot
and
of
businesses
things,
and stuff.
but
Yeah,
that
that's
was
what I'm
a
saying.
Weird time,
Mhm.
and
It's
it
just not the way
doesn't
to handle
excuse
it.
that stuff. But I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like, on the whole, I think the mayor, the governor, they showed a great deal of restraint. It doesn't.
I think
they're-
the mayor is a joke. I mean, I think they could do much better for Mayor Fry.
I would agree, but this
Yeah.
shit
It
is
was
developing
embarrassing
in
when he came out.
real time. And
I remember him on a press conference one of those nights, like the night that it was burning out. He was like, got in there and he's just like, acts like this is my night off right now.
Oh.
Okay, what are your questions? Like,
This
did
is
you
the
agree?
guy's
Didn't remember that?
worst
Do you remember
I
that?
know-
I don't remember that.
like,
I know the press conference.
He
he's
seemed like it
talking
was a
about.
pain in the ass for him to have to go in there and answer those questions and be
this-
waking up out of bed. That's
I got
the
some
impression I got. Obviously,
is
he's probably
the-
not, but
This is the part I remember from that press conference. Very vivid memory of this. Okay, it was at like 1 a.m, 2 a.m, somewhere around there. Okay, and the 50 buildings are on fire at this point in southeast Minneapolis. A lot of buildings on fire, and they're like the fire department's not even fighting the fires. They're just okay. Calls this press conference. The first thing Fry talks about is a Trump tweet, and then the second thing was a reporter from Fox. His name was Paul Bloom. He's an excellent reporter. He asked him, "So what's the plan here?" And he goes,
Oh.
Jacob Fry goes, "For what?
yes,
For
Yes.
what? The
I remember that
fucking
now, yeah.
Southeast Minneapolis
Yeah.
is burning
Yes.
right now. The plan for what?
yeah, like
Give
he's
me
like,
a
I'm not. Maybe if I
break."
don't say anything, maybe they won't ask me that. I'll just kind of play it cool here at first. Like, yes, I vividly remember that now. Now that you reignited
Just
it in my
plain
brain.
dumb.
Unbelievable. When I saw that, that's when I'm like,
Maybe not playing.
dude,
dumb,
this
but-
is embarrassing. You know.
Yeah, that was bad. But I hear what you're saying though is like they're using restraint, right? But they're not going to just get in front of a microphone and say that, we're not going to do anything right now, because that's going to make it a ton worse. So they do a kind of like, not looking back on it, it's like, I know he's not that dumb. So he's just kind of playing dumb, because they've made the decision that they're just gonna this is what's gonna happen.
Well, I think if
tonight.
he was a better leader, he'd be on the mic leading the conversation and the talk instead of standing there and being like, "Yeah,
at
what
the same
what?"
time, he's a mayor. Yeah, he's ineffective. Like, that's fine. But I mean, I don't know what you want.
Now that
honestly.
you're saying it, it's interesting the restraint, and I'm just kind of thinking about it, like how you play dumb, because you're not going to say it into a microphone, because that's going to attract people who want to do
there's
bad
already
things,
a
right?
ton of
So
bad actors in the
what-
mix.
the next day, when the National Guard had been called in, they didn't do anything that first night, and the National Guard director, I don't know, lieutenant or commander, whatever, his answer into a mic as far as why they didn't interrupt it sooner was that they weren't given clear instructions from leadership, and it's not his decision to make how to handle this. It's like our job as the military is to come in and do exactly what these people say, and if they don't have clear instructions, we're not just going to start making huge decisions. That's not my role.
Yeah,
It's
'cause
my
they're-
role is to execute what you want to do.
Yeah, because
and
they're
that's just kind of
prioritizing.
like sorry,
yeah,
just to
no,
finish
no,
this,
yeah,
that's
sorry.
like a way
Yep.
of kind of playing dumb. It's like, well, they didn't do something. You know what I'm saying? It's just this point game. But in reality, it's probably like, no, we have like a very restraint based approach here tonight.
It's a miracle nobody died that night. I mean, seeing the footage,
Yeah.
it was horrifying. Like, yeah, I thought we were going to wake up in a very different
Anarchy.
America.
It was really like anarchy.
And if they would open fire on citizens, like,
And that's like what it would have needed.
But I mean, I've seen
Stop
situations
that.
similar to that before, and they just arrest people like as many as they can. I've never seen them mowing down people like that before.
well, right. You'd have to go back to, like, what, Kent State,
Yeah.
shit like that. But I mean, the stakes were that high, and it was that tenuous at that moment. I'm not, it's a shitty situation all around, but I mean, I just think the people that were in charge are doing the best that they could have done. Like, I'm no defender of Fry. Walls, yeah. I like
The
Walls. but-
county attorney at the time, Mike Freeman was his name. He made just terrible public speaking decisions. He got in front of a microphone after that video had been released and got in front of a microphone and said, basically, I don't know the exact quote, but basically, we need to pump the brakes on this because there is some evidence that no crime was committed by law enforcement. And it's like, okay, that may be true, whatever you learned, but everybody's watching this video, so you don't say that into a microphone right now.
Right.
That's like incendiary. That's just making the environment heat up.
And that was
All right,
kind of the
guys.
closing argument.
Yeah,
too.
Ryan, last wrap it up here, and we're gonna
Was
we're gonna
just
take a
like,
little break here.
We all watched this fucking video. We all watched this man get murdered on TV. Like, it's not any more complicated than that. I remember the closing argument from the prosecutor.
Oh, was that basically?
And it was just like, we all saw this. Let's not overthink it. And I don't know. Big up Minnesota.
All right, we're stopping.
KLXK would like to find out what Twin Cities children want for Christmas. We've set up the KLXK Classic Santa Wish Line for you to call 452-3287. 452-3287.